Unauthorized Cannibal Chapter 1 Starved Fluff. Will Graham gets his meat supply every Wednesday. Ever since he left Louisiana and moved to Maryland, he has had to do his own shopping. Fortunately, these days you can make the purchase online, which saves Will a lot of hustle and helps him stay unauthorized. Not that he wants to do anything unlawful, just because no one would let a cannibal into the FBI Academy. Back in his hometown, the loving middle-aged, non-cannibalistic man who adopted him 28 years ago would always make sure he got the best-tasting meat. Thanks to ultimate love and patience, Will has developed a delicate palate that requires him to spend a good portion of his meager FBI trainee salary on supplies. Registered cannibals could only be compensated for cheap meat from legal killings or suicides, another reason for Will to remain unauthorized. As usual, he opened the web store, but is immediately surprised to find that a new butcher shop has recently opened. The banner of the ad says that their main products are unpolluted homemade marinated organs with free one-day delivery guaranteed. The pictures look great and the feedback from buyers seems legit, so Will decides to give it a try. After all, he has been starving himself for almost 2 weeks for lack of good quality meat, and all bulk buy purchases are unlimited time 50% off. Click, 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 and done. For all these years of being unauthorized, the number of people Will actually kills is 0. He is the only cannibal in the family and never has to fight for meat. Yes, his bloodthirsty nature constantly nags at him subconsciously, but he is a man of excellent self-control. It's much easier to just buy than do all the hard work himself. You can't just slaughter someone on the street, and killing requires Will to be sociable, exactly what Will hates the most. Striking up a conversation with a junkie just to kill is an absolute waste of his limited energy. Being a mediocre butcher as he is, there is a high risk of ruining the meat, so hell no. Starved but hopeful, Will closes his laptop and tries to sleep. Hannibal is preparing for the last order of the day when he answers a call from Jack Crawford. "Hello, Jack. It's nice to hear from you at 9 p.m. What can I do for you?" Hannibal says jokingly. "We need you to teach a class on criminal psychology. Our lecturer went MIA this evening after profiling a recent cannibalistic attacker. The Bureau is investigating the case, but I suspect there will be any valuable lead soon, so we need you tomorrow." Jack speaks with fast speed and shows no emotion about the missing lecturer. No problem at all. He hangs up and sincerely hopes that the lecturer will survive the retaliation. Otherwise, he would have to spend his time educating lame FBI trainees. Picturing what he will wear tomorrow, Hannibal contacts the overnight delivery service and sends the last package to user ID Fluffy Fluff in Wolf Trap. Chapter 2 Every Dog Has Its Day. Sensitivity to light and sound is a characteristic of cannibals, helping them to hunt and hide at night. Not much use if you live in modern and rural wolf trap. The growls of wild creatures and distant but noisy traffic are the biggest sources of Will's insomnia. With the addition of starvation, he has been walking around campus with spectacularly dark shadows under his eyes for quite a while. So the decision is made when he gets up at 6 a.m. and sees a parcel on his front porch. There is no alternative but to starve himself is anything inside, regardless of its quality. Will carefully open the phone box with a camping knife and immediately smell the meat marinade. The balance of bloody and savory is near perfect, and it is undoubtedly fresh. Inside the box, there is a well-decorated greeting card and a recipe suggestion, both written in sophisticated hand calligraphy and carrying a luxurious fragrance that he is unfamiliar with. Taking out most boxes of the stuffings needed, Will decides to have braised stuffed heart for breakfast. While waiting for the heart to cook on the stove, he dips a finger to taste the marinade and senses the pumping of his blood intensifying because of the delectable flavor. An hour later, as the vapor of the lid opening awakens him fully, the first bite of the heart brings a warm burst of joy filling his chest. The chewy texture of the marinated heart is amplified as a contrast to fast-cooked smashed potatoes and green beans. The well-soaked mixture of stuffings, including breadcrumbs, onion, mushrooms, and eggs, enhances the spicy and salty notes of the thick gravy as well. Every dog has his day, and Fluffy Fluff is sure today is the day. Hannibal is uncertain about what to blame for a situation like this, whether it is his perfectly fitting human suit or Jack Crawford's blunt indifference to the reluctance in Hannibal's eyes. Every Thursday morning at 9 a.m., 4 weeks a month, remember to answer student inquiries. Jack shows no mercy when it comes to arranging his time without asking first, and does not give his tailored suit a second glance. But what could he say? In theory, he is obliged to teach up to 40 hours per academic year as a visiting lecturer. So here he is, discussing the lecture arrangements with 2 of the 3 TAs who are in charge of organizing teaching activities. Thankfully, the diligent former lecturer, Dr. Du Maurier, is someone who would not start anything unless all things are planned out in advance. With all the lecture notes, slides, and in-class tasks well prepared, all he has to do is talk for 3 hours each week, unpaid. Taking a moment to curse, he already joins the group chat called Cream Psych Sis and sees Bloomy Bloom, Curly Curl, Catchy Catch, and Juicy Juice even before the lecture begins. Well, this naming scheme seems eerily familiar, and he even considers calling himself Stuffy Stuff. His group chat name remains unchanged. After meeting Miss Bloom and Cass and experiencing their vibrant personalities, he wonders if this curly lady with a profile picture of golden retriever puppies really does have amazing curls. 2 things Will Graham cares about are filling his stomach and rescuing pups. How about saving lives, you may ask, but how can any human compete with dogs for loveliness? Being a cannibal and worrying about people being murdered at the same time might sound too hypocritical to Will. You might be curious about why Will chooses to be an FBI agent then. Well, what else do you expect this near-psychic to do? Be a psychiatrist, see through someone's mind in 5 minutes while being forced to listen to their complaints about their misery and actually talk to them for the next 3 hours. Just imagine how hellish that would be. So when he hears puppies whimpering on the drive to Chronicle, the only thing on his mind is to stop the car and check what on earth is going on. The scene is clear to him. Someone has tried to scrub off the blood harshly, but Will can smell the residue of splattered brain tissue on the bricks of the sidewalk. This does not bother Will too much, but it becomes an entirely different situation when the killer leaves the victim's puppies unattended on the street. I don't get these nuts. How can anyone be so apathetic to dogs? These are puppies. Will angrily condemns as he gently carries all the puppies into his passenger seat. No matter how much he wants to reason by himself, he has to keep his promise to his father that he cannot have any puppies unless he learns how to take care of himself first. Being starved for 2 weeks is not necessarily a good sign for taking on the responsibility of 6 puppies all by himself. They need to go to the dog shelter. That doesn't mean he can't visit them or plead with his friends from the academy to adopt them. Alana, definitely yes. Kat, maybe. As for Dr. Du Maurier, he may have to talk to her in person when she shows up again. Hi Alana, good morning. I happened to meet a group of cute little ones this morning, and would you please take at least one of them so I could visit you to see them? Please. Look at the cute little drools. You know how desperate I am for dogs. Delivered 10:40 a.m. Hi Will, where were you this morning? The substitute lecturer for Jews wants to meet with you to discuss some issues about the grading on midterm essays. I heard he wants all students to turn in handwritten papers. Can't even be printed versions. That's kinda new. Alana replies quickly during the mid-class break. Weirdo. Doesn't he know how much work that will add to my work? Fine, I'll go to meet him after next week's lecture. Important. Please adopt the dog. Will has to emphasize what really matters when texting with Alana. She is always easily distracted. Okay, but just one. Applesauce could be jealous sometimes, you know, and I don't want to stress her out too much. Send me a pin of the dog shelter's location, and you can come to my apartment on Sunday to check them out. Cars will come too. Thank you, and thank you. You are the best. Locking his screen again, Will decides he should go out and buy more dog toys and treats for the pups and applesauce before Sunday comes.